Hi guys, Levi here from Bright Young Brains. Oh, come on, are you showing? So, anyways, in this video, right, this is something that someone asked specifically. So they mentioned here, how do I pick myself up when I'm not having a good day and I'm not in the mood for academics? Something along those lines. I think I'm like low-key paraphrasing a bit, but this is something that everybody sort of like deals with on a slightly regular basis. Maybe after every month or 2 or 3, it just hits you in the face and you're like, I don't feel like doing anything. So in this video, I am going to mention 5 ways that you can somewhat tackle this. Let me dive into the first one. And you see, like I sat down, I really thought about this, and here we are. Point number 1, acknowledge that the feeling is there. So this is why this is important. If you're not in the mood for something, you don't want to pretend that the feeling is not there. You don't want to pretend that everything is okay and it's fine. No. You want to acknowledge the feeling. When I say you want to acknowledge the feeling, I don't mean don't put yourself in a situation where it like cripples you, where maybe now you're gonna walk around feeling all depressed, or you're gonna like now embody the feeling and you're like you don't do anything that day type of thing. No, that's not what I mean by acknowledge that the feeling is there. What I mean by acknowledge that the feeling is there is you want to be conscious of how you're feeling, you see, because if you try to like pretend that everything is okay, you really cannot fool your mind as much as you think you can. You really cannot. So in a situation like that, right, what you want to do is, firstly, you want to acknowledge the feeling, because if you do not acknowledge something, you cannot necessarily face it head on, you see. You're gonna be all over the place, yada yada yada. So obviously you may be thinking to yourself, okay fine, but what does it mean to like acknowledge the feeling? So I wrote here, if you know what is happening, you can consciously deal with it. So acknowledging the feeling, right, you don't want to think of it as something deep or fancy or whatever. No, just keep it in mind that, you know what, I know I'm not having a good day today, and you just want to keep in mind that that's normal. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that everyone else has it better off or whatever. No. You acknowledging the feeling is you also remembering that it is a normal occurrence. Everybody goes through it, and in terms of the one way you're gonna deal with it is to not just push it aside, you see. So obviously in terms of the other points that we're gonna mention, they all just stack on you firstly acknowledging that, okay fine, today is not a good day, we need to do something about it, you see. That's the first thing you want to do. Acknowledge it, don't just brush it off. When I say don't just brush it off, I literally mean don't put yourself in a situation where you now just spend the whole day on your phone and you're just scrolling and something is wrong, but you're trying to pretend everything is okay, and you're maybe just trying to keep your mind occupied. That's what I mean by acknowledge the feeling. Don't just do certain things during that whole day to try and keep your mind occupied so that you don't actually deal with the issue. That's what I mean. Second point here I mentioned, take stock of all the work that you've been putting in. Now this point here is actually quite important, because when a person is like not feeling in the mood to study, or sometimes you have to remember that when you get into these moments, you're probably maybe even low-key burnt out. Now you have to remember, the only person that's gonna low-key be burnt out is someone that has somewhat been putting in the work, one way or the other. If you properly, consciously, honestly, truthfully know that, I've been putting in the work, and you're like working your off if you're that kind of, if you know that you've really been like putting in the work, right, trust me, when it comes to a situation where you really or a day where you're really like not feeling it right, you want to take inventory of like all the work that you've been putting in. You want to take stock of all the work that you've actually done, all the assignments you've actually like submitted, the homeworks you've been doing, things like that. You want to acknowledge it, because you don't want to think to yourself that everything is just happening and you're not actually like seeing the fruits from it or whatever. So even if maybe you don't have like something very tangible to like point at, the one thing you can do for yourself is firstly just realize that, you are in this state because you have been doing something. No one ends up in that state where they feel like a bit exhausted or tired just from chilling, unless you actually know you've been chilling and you've been going wherever, doing whatever, and now you're like just flat tired, and now you kind of still need to study. That's a different situation, you know. I mean, in a situation like that, you obviously do need to take accountability. You need to be accountable for your own actions. So actually, low-key, at this second point, right, in terms of you taking stock of like all the work that you've been putting in, obviously what I'm trying to say is, if you're low-key feeling burnt out, it's because you've been putting in the work, and you know, you kind of need to give yourself some time to like cool off. The flip side of that is, maybe you've just been doing a bunch of useless things that are now like really just messing with your head. You know, maybe you've been, I don't know, partying too much. This is one other thing I can drop in here. Maybe you have like too many spots on your timetable, and now they sort of like take all your time. You have practice all day, and now when you come back from school, you're tired. I mean, like, some of those things that you really kind of need to like cut them off bit by bit. Like, legit, you have to have a serious conversation with yourself about things like that. But anyways, let me move on here to the third step. Before moving on to the third step, you have to remember that if you're feeling burnt out, your body does need a breather. So you kind of need to take some time to sleep a bit longer, eat a bit more, and relax. Relaxing does not mean you scrolling on your phone the whole day. That's not relaxing. Trust me, that takes up energy. Point number 3, I mentioned here, take a nap during the day between about 45 to 90 minutes. So obviously, if you wake up and you're feeling a bit low, down, your energy levels are like not where they are supposed to be, trust me, you don't necessarily need to go through the whole day all in one go. A few hours into the day, you can take a nap, like reboot. It is okay. It is 100% okay to do that, you know. And on days like that, try to put yourself in a situation where the basic things, obviously just do them. I mean, like, wake up, take a shower, brush your teeth, have something to eat. Don't now just like wake up, stay in bed for like 3 hours, you know, with your stinking breath. No, just try and like, you know, just have your brain know that, okay, you're trying to just work with the situation, you know. So do those basic things, you know, take that shower in the morning, clean yourself up, just be, you know, be up to the challenge type of thing. I don't mean be all energetic, since you don't have it's not about pretending, you know. You don't have to pretend. You just have to not be like you don't have to walk around like a zombie the whole day type of thing, you know. One other thing is, if you, let's say you wake up and you're like not feeling really energetic or whatever, and you like take your shower and whatever, and you still feel like, whew, you're tired. This is what I actually normally do sometimes. Like, let's say I've woken up, I've showered, I've eaten, and I'm still like, it's not happening. I literally just you know, sometimes go lie down for like 30 minutes. I set an alarm for 30 minutes, and then I just sort of like have this mini reboot, 30 to 45 minutes. It usually does the trick, to be honest, in terms of like, let's say, energy levels, right? I mentioned here, you won't feel guilty for sleeping if you actually do something meaningful when you are awake. So what I mean is, if you know that the reason maybe why you're a bit tired is because you've really been working and maybe you've been having less sleep, that one day where you know that, okay, today I kind of need to like rest and like maybe sleep, also have a nap at some point in the day, don't feel guilty about that, you know. Because the one thing about sleep is just way too underrated, and sleep is just too demonized way too often, which is like really bad. Now, the one thing is, obviously, anyone that's gonna feel a bit guilty about sleeping and resting, maybe it's usually because the time that they're awake, they're really not doing anything, you know. So you have to remember, things like you being on your phone and watching TV the whole day and you're thinking you're resting, I cannot stress this enough, that's not resting. That is not resting. That is not relaxing. It low-key might seem like it, but if you do it excessively, trust me, it's almost like a chore on your brain. Point number 4, on this day, right, where, you know, things are not, you know, are not that good, and it's just downhill, and the brain is tired, and you're exhausted, and you're feeling a bit in a mood type of thing, I wrote here, do what you consider easy or trivial during that day. So what I mean is, obviously, if you have like multiple subjects that you know you have to cater for on that day, right, try and maybe just do the easy subjects, or try and just do that easy topic that you know is like super simple, but you maybe still need to get to it, you know. So this is maybe that day where you could maybe do some probability or statistics or something like that, if this is on the med side, because remember, those topics are relatively on the easy side. But then the thing is, they sometimes always stay difficult in the minds of certain people because they actually never really get to doing those subjects. But then the other thing will be maybe, okay, since it's just like 5% of your final year mark on your math subject, usually people just don't get to it at all. But then on those days where you're low-key feeling down, do the easy things, do that easy subject or that easy topic. Maybe do that LO assignment, or maybe even study a bit on that LO. Trust me, do it. And obviously other trivia activities, maybe there's some small chores you've been putting off. Maybe you have like a pile of clothes that you still have to wash, or your shoes, or whatever. Those smaller things that are just in your head all the time, and you have to get to them, but you haven't gotten to them. Do those things, do those things on that day, because they are going to give you that sense of accomplishment. You can say, okay, at least I've done this, I've done that. You need to play those kinds of games with yourself. Not every day has to be like a big heavy hitting day. No, some days it's gonna be low-key chilled and all that. The main idea behind doing these trivial tasks is so that you keep yourself from maybe just doing nothing. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're that kind of a person that really has to do something at least, then just do the small stuff. Remember, here we're talking about your mood is low, you're not having a good day, and you don't feel like doing schoolwork. So we all have to be honest with ourselves. When those days like rock up, sometimes there are certain things that are usually like right at the back of your head that are really supplementing you feeling this way. So I wrote here, right, settle all unnecessary issues. So when I say settle all unnecessary issues, I'm trying to refer to very normal everyday things that kind of happen. Maybe there's some beef you have with your friend or whatever, or there's this argument that's currently going on, or this issue that you're still dealing with. Maybe there's some drama, stuff like that. If that, I literally wrote here, right, if there's something that is bothering you but you can do something about it, just do it. I'll repeat, if there's like this really small thing, or not, it may not be small, but it may be something. But if there's like something that you can actually do to push you in the direction of actually you helping yourself, the least you can do is to just do it. You don't want to just dwell and like not do it. And I also wrote here, the least you can do that will actually help you, do that, and you will most definitely feel lighter. Like literally, have that difficult conversation. It might not turn out the way you want it to turn out, but the thing is, what it's gonna do is, it is going to free you. You is going to feel better. Trust me. We have all practically been living on this earth for quite some time now, so we kind of know that that is actually the truth. Like some of the things we do confront, and we don't want to confront it, regardless of low-key how it goes. It usually gives us peace to know that, you know what, it's actually off my shoulders now. Like I've said what I've said, I've done what I can, it's off your shoulders. The universe now has to sort itself out because you've done everything you can. Maybe you've spoken out, you've done this. Yeah, any small unnecessary issue that that is like messing with your head, try and deal with it. It's really going to help you in those days when your mood is like kind of low. Because when your mood is like kind of low and you're not in the zone and you're not feeling up to it, you really want to take inventory of some of the things that could be contributing to that. So don't fool yourself and maybe think maybe it's just the schoolwork and it's all piled up. No. Sometimes even has nothing to do with school. So in those kinds of situations, you really want to just sort your life out. Just fix your life a bit. Me saying it like that sounds a bit weird, but it is what it is. It is what it is. From my side, that is that from this video. Obviously, for more content like this, you do want to subscribe. You want to check out whatever else is on the channel, you can just check on like the channel homepage. And yeah, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to share it, depending on who else might find value from this. But from my side, that is that. I will catch you in the next video. Obviously, if you've made it this far, you're probably wondering, what is this behind me? It is the study guide that we recommend. Now obviously, I'm not going to plug anything that I don't use, or something that I don't think is meaningful, or whatever, especially if it's math, like hello. So this study guide, you definitely do want to grab a copy if you know that math is like not your best friend. The link to this is in the description. It will take you straight to our website. where you can just order this book, and delivery is like 100% free nationwide. You see, it's a nice book, this one. Trust me, you will not regret it. Anyways, that's that. Peace.